Hello, I'm Rebecca and welcome to my YouTube channel Crafting with Rebecca. It's Friday the 10th of October and I'm so glad you're here with me today. I have a finish to share with you, a partial finish I guess you'd call it, and progress on my current WIPs as well. Now if you can hear some birds tweeting in the background, I'm looking after my sister-in-law's budgies and they are rather talkative out there. You may also hear the odd rooster crowing and who knows what other birds are out there today. So we're a little bit later than I usually do. I've been aiming for every second week, but when it came to filming last week, I had a run of afternoon and evening shifts and I just didn't have the time to film and edit a video. I also didn't, because of those shifts, I hadn't got a lot of stitching done either, so there wasn't a lot of progress to share with you. So that's what's been happening. So my first project today is a finish. My friend Rachel and I have been stitching this project together and we've both finished it, which is lovely. It's the I Was Stitching by Hands On Design and here is mine. Doesn't it look fantastic? I'm so happy with how it turned out. I did change the ruler here that has those words in it from brown to the aqua colour and I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I will put a picture in of Rachel's and she kept hers with the brown. So I started it on the 17th of October and I finished it on the 29th, but I actually only had 4 stitching days. But one day was probably one of my biggest ever at 1,007 stitches. It was a grand total of 2,650 stitches. So this one is the second one in the series by Hands On Design and I've stitched the 2 so far on the same piece of fabric. So here is the I Was Crafting. And then we have I Was Stitching and I've got room for the last one, which is By the Scissors. So it is out, it has been released, but only in a paper form so far. And these days I prefer to stitch on using PDFs in markup, so I'm just waiting until they release it as that. I do have a plan for how I want to finish. And if you watch one of my previous videos, I bought some like black chalkboard type tags that are like about this big. So I have a plan to finish them somehow mounting them onto the board and adding a ribbon, adding some fabric. So that's my plan. Actually, note to self, look for fabric at the craft show. So for my first WIP this week, I only have 3, so that part's not going to take me very long today. I have got my Peppermint Purple 52-week sale. It is a great way of watching the weeks of the year go past because now it looks like there are not many left to do. This time I did weeks 39, 40 and 41. Now, I've kind of forgotten where they were, but here we go. So you can see we're starting to really fill in the year now. There's not a lot left to go. So 41 was here, and I think the other ones were in the corner there. But isn't it just looking fantastic? I know I say it every single time, but I just love doing this. It's so nice to have a project that you just have to, like, you can only do a little bit each week, and yet you're still making progress. So I just enjoy that really quite a lot. It's quite satisfying and I love how the designs look. I just love everything about it. So Claire from Peppermint Purple has sign-ups for next year's sale is opening shortly, or has opened, I'm not sure. But I will include a link below. It's not too late to join in with this year's sale and download all the files. She does remove them eventually, and you can then purchase the file for the whole sale, which I've actually done, and I hadn't realised that they actually were sales for a couple of the previous ones. So I have them in my stash to stitch, but it's rather nice to get it for free, although I did purchase the border piece. What I think I might do for next year though, which will make stitching each week quicker, is she does release the layout in December sometime. She does have the dates on her website as when she releases things, and you can choose your layout and you can also choose borders. She gives a couple of like free borders, and then she has more detailed ones. So the one that I have around the edge here was a paid border, but I really liked it, and I wanted to try that one. So but my plan is, where I've got my red threads that you can see, I just did that so I could get out to the border and stitch that. But what I'm thinking I might do is actually do the back stitch around each block. That way then when the week comes I don't have to do that, and I don't have ugly red threads that are getting in the way, because a couple of them I stitched the threads into the back, which I didn't mean to do. And I can cut them out, but some are a little bit tight. So I'm thinking I might do that, but we'll see how we feel when the layouts come out. I might just be too excited to get out to the edge. So my next project is Moment in Chalk by Hands On Designs. This one, I don't realise that it's so big when you've got it all folded up and you're just stitching on your little corner. But when I took it out to iron, I ironed things today, I went, wow, this is really big, but it's going to be beautiful. I'm still plodding my way through the border. I would like to have finished it, but things change and plans change and life happens. So we didn't get as much stitching on this as I would have liked. I actually only got 558, but we're still plodding around the border. We're almost to the last corner now. So I'll hold it up and you can see how ginormous it is. So but it is looking lovely. So let me just roll this up a bit. Here we go. So I think, oops, I think I've been stitching across the bottom here is where we're still going. So we're on track. We're still, the points and things are lining up here. So I'm happy with that. So we are getting there. We still have a ways to go to get back up to the top bit, but it's about 1,243 stitches left to go. So not unachievable, but perhaps maybe not by next Flosstube, maybe the one after. I would like to stitch something other than white, although it is nice to stitch in just the one colour, but I would like to venture out and do something else. Also, I'm a little concerned I might not have enough thread. You had to buy 6 skeins for the whole pattern, including all the little months, and I'm on to the last one. So fingers crossed we have enough to at least get the border done, because then I can stitch other colours whilst waiting for the other one to come. I mean, that would be really annoying to have to wait for one thread. So, but we'll see what happens. I am enjoying stitching this one. It is a test on your counting skills, and there has been some unpicking, but not a lot, so we're doing okay. So for my last WIP is my chromatic dragon, or Gertie as I'd like to call her. So she's been designed by Mikey Bergman, and the pattern is available from Pain Free Crafts. So I have done quite a bit of stitching. My goal is to get 700 stitches done a week. I'm not sure I quite managed that last week, but I had a lot of afternoon shifts and evening shifts, and then I felt like rubbish. So I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but I think because I've gone over 700 in the previous weeks, I think I'm still on track. I still seem to have done a lot of stitching since the last time we spoke. So since we last chatted, I have done 2,224 stitches. So here we go. It doesn't look like much there, does it? So let me bring her in. So I think I finished off the big square, the first page, and then I'm working my way across the second one. Whilst that may look like a lot of black, it's actually, this bottom portion here actually has quite a lot of colours in it. There's blues, and there's the very, very tip of the next horn there. But what I've started to do, I'm going to, I was doing just a page and not venturing out of that page, but the last time I did a full coverage like this, which I actually didn't complete, I noticed you could see definite lines where the page finished, so don't want to have that happen on this project. So I am starting to like venture out a little bit, so I don't have that really defined line happening there. So I'm sort of I'm going into the next block of 10, trying not to venture too far out of that, but I don't want to get too far out of one page. I just don't want to risk having those lines on there. You don't want that to stand out on it. So for Dragon, I have stitched so far a total of 5,569 stitches, and we are at a grand total of 2.66%. So after a quick battery change, here we are again. That was all my WIPs I'm working on at the moment. I do have a secret stitch, and you can check that out on my Instagram page at Crafting with Rebecca. So next up is my shopping. Now, if I'd have recorded this last week, I'd have had nothing to share with you. However, things can change in a week, and I've had a few parcels delivered. So I was inspired by Catkin and Lily. She's doing a series on using perforated paper, and sort of piqued my interest. I've done a couple of Mill Hill projects on the perforated paper and quite enjoyed doing them. Well, she actually has in her Etsy shop some lovely snow ornaments, and snowflake ornaments even, and I just loved them. I am a sucker for a snowflake in any form, although I don't really like the actual wet ones. They're a little bit too damp for me, but I like the look of them, and I like the idea of snowflakes. Just seems a bit odd to us in Australia with our super hot Christmases, but I'm not against them. So I am doing a couple of ornament exchanges, and I thought these might make an excellent gift, or part of that gift anyway. So Jason at Jason Cross Stitches is running a worldwide ornament swap, which I thought would be lots of fun to join in. So I might use some of these, although I do have another parcel that might be coming in the next couple of weeks that has some more ornament ideas in there. I've ordered some magazines from 123 Stitch after I watched their latest video, and actually she's given me a really great idea about having a Christmas tree dedicated to cross stitch ornaments. I was like, oh, I need to do that. I actually don't have that many that have cross stitch on them, which is a surprise. I don't really know why, although as you can see I don't really do tiny projects a lot, so maybe that's it. But I thought maybe I can start planning some ornaments for next year. I do have a spot where I could probably put like a tall skinny tree, so maybe that will be a good idea for next year. So in leading up to that, I then bought some perforated paper from All Threads, which is a local cross stitch shop, or needlework shop actually, and they have lots of supplies there, and they also have really fast postage, which is great. So 2 packets of perforated paper just to get me started, and I can always grab some more. So my next lot of purchases comes from Etsy. Etsy is a fabulous place, but it can be rather enabling. So I had seen an ad on Instagram for Simply Norelle and her project bags, and she had advertised this one that's so cute. I just love the fabric. So here we go. Isn't that lovely? I don't know, I just love the little houses and the bikes, and that it's blue. So it's a small one. I think it's kind of like a little bit smaller than A4, I'm not sure. It has a lovely pocket, it's nicely padded, and just a little charm on the zip. So I just think that one is pretty, so I just really loved that one. And then of course parcels can't come on their own, can they? So I bought a grime guard as well. I haven't used that, although looking at this and looking at the projects I'm currently working on, perhaps this is not the one for them. is a little bit small, but I do have other smaller projects that I have in the pipe works, and I'll be able to use it on that. So there we go. And then my last purchase is very appropriate for our house. It's a needle minder. It says, if it fits, I sits. And I have a black cat, and he does like to sit in a good box. And my other kitty cat, he definitely goes with the theory that if I fit, I sits. We have multiple boxes spread around the house that they both like to have a sit in. And then, whilst we're on the project bag train, I've got another one. I come across this one on Facebook, and I was like, how can I have this one? I need it. So here we are. I am definitely in my cross stitch era, although I'm actually not really a Taylor Swift fan, but I needed to have this bag. Isn't this fabric just so lovely? I just love it. One day I'm going to own one of those old Singer sewing machines. One day. What I didn't know this bag was going to have, it's got 2 zips. So it's got 2 pockets. So there's a pocket that's the clear one at the front, and then there's another big pocket there as well. So that'll be quite handy actually for the upcoming retreat that I'm coming to, because then I can actually stick 2 projects in there if I need to. So there we go. And she also sent this really lovely, pretty coloured DMC specialty thread, which kind of matches the bag. So thank you very much, Roz. Then there's still another parcel to come. I signed up earlier this year for the Historical Sampler Advent Calendar, and I'm so excited. I saw it last year and I regretted not signing up for it, but I hadn't really heard of them at that time, so I kind of missed out. I did do their stitch along last year. I just bought the PDF, but this time I've gone the whole hog. I bought the stitch along and I bought the advent calendar. So that arrived last week. So exciting. So here we have the stitch along. So there's no picture obviously because it's a surprise. But I did get the fabric. Ooh, and the thread. So it's a Sage Ada. I think I got the 16 count. I can't remember though. And then it comes with the needle and the threads. So, and don't lose the needle. And that should be starting, I think it's early next week, so it will be exciting to see what that looks like. Now for the best part. Excuse me while I pull it in. It's rather large. So here we have, look how big this is. And isn't it such a beautiful box? I'm just excited by the box, and my husband was rather impressed as well. So it's so good. So all I've done is had a look on the inside. So I just lift the lid off. Ooh. So they have a lovely little sheet of instructions. Then there's a little packet on the top that includes the cottons that you will need for the projects in there. And then we'll just pull that bit off. And then, because I don't really want to touch them either. So here we have we have 24 little packets to open. They're all numbered. So we're going to start. You can touch this one because it's number 1. Right. So we have one there. I'm not feeling things. I showed my sister-in-law Fiona, and she was touching them. Like, how rude. I'm not touching and feeling things. I've never been one, even as a child, to go and feel the presents under the Christmas tree. And I'm not touching these. I'm allowed to touch number 1 just to have a look. And that's it. We're going to wait until the 24th, or not 24th, the 1st of December before we open one. Unlike other people, Rachel, I do have some control. But I really can't wait. I just love the box, and I'm excited to get stitching whatever projects are in there at the... Righto, for my last segment, I'm going to show you some of the older projects that I have around my house. So we've reached the entry foyer area, and I do have a few things hanging up in there. So to start off with, we've got some smaller projects that I have finished in hoops. So the first one is a class that we did at the Embroidery Guild this year. As you may not know, I'm the class coordinator, so I try to come up with things that we can do that aren't too hard but do challenge you a little bit, and I think some of the ladies may have found it a little bit challenging to do. But we did a peppermint purple design. They actually have a couple of projects that are for you to able to run classes. I will put a link down below, and this is the intermediate project. Hasn't it come up nice? I didn't do all the colours that were listed, although some of the ladies did, and then some of them did completely different designs, not designs, different colours as well. I did use the opalescent Ada, and I think it's a 14 count. But isn't that nice? And then I just used, got these frames from Etsy. But that's quite nice. We're actually going to, I've asked everybody for our upcoming guild exhibition to bring in the ones that they've done so we can have a display of all the class projects. So that will be fun to see, all the different colours that everybody used. So my next one is also a hoop finish, and this one is Stitching My Way to Happiness. It's a Stitch Rovia design, but it was the subscription box by Cotton and Twine, and this was the January one. I was really excited. This is the reason why I signed up for the boxes, and I just love it. It was fun to stitch. I really enjoy Emma Congdon's designs. Then my last hoop finish that's in the foyer is actually an embroidered one, because I do embroidery as well, and this one is called Yin Yang, and it's by Nels Bells Designs, and I bought this as a kit, and pretty sure the pattern was printed onto the fabric, and I finished it in June 2023. But this was a fun one to do. Lots of French knots and lazy daisies, but that's okay. I don't have a problem with them, except when my French knot pulls through, but you know, you just do it again. So my next couple are framed pictures, and one is one that I've done and one is one that my mum did. So my first one is mine, and this is a Dimensions kit, and I finished it in 2006. So I couldn't find it quite on the internet, but I will have another look when I'm on the computer. But isn't this a lovely one? So I used to keep this one out just for Christmas because it sort of has a bit of a Christmas vibe to it, but I also like welcome signs as well. So I keep, and it's not always Christmassy, is it? So I really like this one. This one was a fun one to stitch. Yes, very happy with that one. And my next one, last year my mum moved house and she's now in a retirement village and having a wonderful time there. And when she was packing up, she decided that she would clean out some of her things, as you do when you're downsizing, and she had a cross stitch that she was going to chuck away because the frame was all broken. I'm like, no mum, I need to have that. So I grabbed it and I got it reframed, and I have to say it looks fantastic. So here we go. It's a bit big. I can't get it all in the frame, so maybe I'll hold it there. So all you can see is the glare. So, but as you can see at the bottom here, hopefully you can see, it's got mum's initials and 1987. So that's when mum and I think first learnt to cross stitch, and when we went to our first cross stitch class. So that's a fun piece to have. So, and mum was going to throw it away, and I think it looks fantastic. I will put a picture in if I can get a good one, so you can see it in all its glory. I have to say my picture framer also did a fantastic job, and I'll try and remember to leave his details down below as well. So next up, I've got some plans coming ahead. So as always, my general plan is to try and stitch on all my projects as much as I can. I've been watching lots of Flosstubes, and everybody has, or it seems like everybody has, I've got to do this challenge and that challenge, and put a lot of pressure on themselves to try and get things done. And I don't want to have that pressure. The only one that I do have a deadline for is Dragon, and that's to do 700 stitches a week, because I would actually like to finish him someday, like to finish her someday. And I actually really enjoy stitching, so to do 700's not really pushing it a lot, unless I have lots of night shifts. I don't really have enough projects to do a lot of like the challenges anyway, because I've only got like 4 or 5 maybe at a time. It's not enough to really participate in a challenge unless it's a stitching goal. And I just don't want to do that. So I'm happy just to stitch on things like 2 to 3 days in a row and then switch to the next one. So that's my general goal for stitching. But I do have a few things coming up that are rather fun. So next Friday, my mum, my sister and my niece, we're all going to the craft show that's coming to Brisbane. It's so that should be a fun day. I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy anything, because we know that's probably not true, but there doesn't tend to be a lot of cross-stitch places at the craft shows, so I will try to restrain myself from other projects because I do have a lot to do. So we'll see. So then after that, not the following week, 2 weeks after the craft show is the cross-stitch retreat. So I'm very, very excited for that and looking forward to that. So I'm working out what projects I want to take, although probably I'll just take them all. And I also have a list of things I want to look at buying there. I'm really interested in Paddock Lane Designs fabrics, but for projects, but I need to see it. I can't order something online with those designs because I just can't tell if it's going to work or not. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her stand, and I've got a few projects that I would like to start, but I would like to get the fabric for. Also some that are coming up in the next bit I'm going to talk about as well. So just have a list for that. So I probably don't need to buy things at the craft show because I want to buy things at the retreat, but we'll see. And before I go to the retreat, I'm actually taking the week off work, and I'm going to put up my Christmas tree. I know it's early. It's even a little bit early for me. I do love Christmas, and I usually try and put it up the first week of November. But that time, like in November, is a busy month for me. So with work, and the guild is having its exhibition, so I'm working on that. So I just needed to do it early. So I'm going to do it that week. It does take me a good 2 days to put everything up because I do have a lot. So you'll see my background here will look a little bit different. And I will probably include some pictures of it when it all happens. So I'm excited for that as well. Then my last thing that I'm really excited about is the Jingle Ball. I kind of wish I had attended last year, but I'd only sort of just found out about it and I didn't really know what it was. So the way it looks with my rosters at work, I could possibly be working that weekend, so that would not be fun. But things are recorded. It would just mean I would miss out on some of the live things. But I'm still going to join in, and I've been looking at what projects I want to do. So I will put pictures in as I talk about them of which ones I'm looking at. I'm really keen on the Countdown to Christmas bell pull that's being done by Heartstring Samplery. This is really pretty and it's really long. It's almost as tall as the designer when she shows a picture of it. So, but I do love a good countdown and a good advent, so I might need to do that one and see if Dad can make me a top for the bell pull. Oh, and a bottom as well. I'm also interested in the perforated poinsettias by Hands On Designs. I just actually really want to do one of her classes. I don't know that I really need another needle book. I probably have maybe 5 or 6, but I just want to do one of her classes. So I do like the design as well. So that's still I'm not sure, but probably. Then for my Christmas decorating, I have a number of wreaths, and I may have over 15. And there is a wreath class in Jingle Ball, and I hadn't put it on my list. And I'm like, what am I thinking? I am a wreath person. So I think I might do that one as well. But I'm actually thinking I might not do a wreath. I have a garland that I have in my entry, and it's okay. It was a cheap one that I got, I think, from Temu or one of those places. And it's just looking a bit sad. So, and the lights I think have stopped working. So I'd have to redo that. But I'm thinking I might buy a nicer wreath and maybe do the cross-stitch ornaments that are on it's called Nature's Wreath by Robin Pickens, and do some of those ornaments perhaps on it. It's still thoughts in progress, but I'm thinking I do like that, and even if I just do it as a wreath, it'll be lovely as well. And then the last one that I really like is Christmas Globes by Hello from Liz Matthews. Although it looks like she doesn't do them on perforated paper, I feel like I could do it on that. And I did actually see some jars at one of the cheap shops that would be perfect for it, and I think they were only $2. So I'm quite interested in that one as well. So looks like I'll be busy in December doing all those projects, because the videos for Jingle Ball are only available for 30 days after the event, so you need to get a wriggle on to get things done then. So that should be fun. So I'm really looking forward to all those things that are coming up. So yes, lots of stitching in my future, especially Christmas stitching by the looks of it. So I'm really excited about all those things. So that's all my cross-stitch ramblings for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please like and subscribe. It always helps if you do that. And I hope you'll join me next time. Happy stitching!